Hello, everybody. Hi, Sue. It is wonderful to see you. Welcome to another live. I am very, very excited to be here. I have a lot to go over because I haven't been here for 2 weeks because I've been so busy. So let's talk about what is new with me. First, I want to tell you that I was looking all over my house because it's beautiful here today. The sun is shining. It's in the, mid to upper 60s. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I was like, oh, I'm going to wear, my lovely tee. I'm trying to find my purple one. I can't find my purple lovely tee. Where the heck is it? I'm going all over my house. Here it is. It's hanging up in my studio. So I got dressed and was like, well, this is going to have to be good enough. Last weekend was the New England Fiber Festival, and I had never been there before. I was invited to go. Well, actually, months and months ago, Tabitha of Long Island Yarn and Farm, she had said, you know, let's teach a class at the New England Fiber Festival. And I said, it's 2 weeks after Rhinebeck and Cake Palooza. I don't know that I'm going to have it in me, but we pitched a class. It was accepted, and we had a wonderful time. What I love about the New England Fiber Festival is it's all inside. So it doesn't matter what the weather is. It's just all in this great big place. Also, there's animals there. So places like Tabitha, Long Island Yarn and Farm, she brought her animals. Not all of her animals. She brought a mama and a baby llama. So Franny and Roger were there. If you're on my Instagram, I put a reel up this week of that, and my sister actually got to walk around with the baby. She was so excited, and my sister came to visit me. Oh, I was so shocked and excited. It was so much fun. There aren't as many people there, so it makes it feel a little less overwhelming, but a lot of vendors go to to both shows. So if you're someone that feels a little overwhelmed by a bunch of people and a giant space and so much stuff, next year, the New England Fiber Festival might be for you, and I am definitely going to teach another class there. So this was the first time that I had taught a class. I was so excited to teach a class, and I thought that it was so fun. The class that I taught was knitting with locks. It seems to be my obsession lately, and we're going to get into talking about that as well. Oh, it's nice to see everybody. Post a comment where you're from. I see Sue from Georgia is in there. And I am just really excited to be here again. Okay, let's see. And if you're watching the playback, thank you so much for being here. Leave me a message down below. I love to answer them. And if you could give this video a thumbs up, that is a wonderful way to keep the channel going and to show me that you like this live. So let's talk about what I acquired whilst I was there. Hi, Gail. So I purchased way more from New England Fiber Festival than I did from Rhinebeck. So let's get into it. The first thing I purchased, just going to put my FOs over here for a second, is fiber from Tabitha. When I went to Rhinebeck, I purchased fiber, and it was a merino llama, which was so soft and beautiful. I actually started spinning it because I brought my spinning wheel to the house where I was staying, and I started spinning it that Saturday night. And I came up with this yarn. It's like a beautiful oatmeal color. It's a 2-ply. It's a fingering, a true fingering. So I had a 2-ply. And while I was shopping on Sunday with my friend Crystal, Factory Girl Knits, we were shopping, and I had already purchased this because actually I bid off her because she had bought some, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to buy some of that too. So I bought some of this, and then we were walking around, and last year, not 2024, 2023, I had gone just a couple booths away from where Tabitha was, and there was a Wensleydale farmer, and I purchased I purchased a fleece. I'm still going to process it, and I'll bring you all along for the journey if you're interested in that. But she has these kits of washed and dyed locks. So with the fiber next to it, I thought, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. So I spun this up super quick. I blew off everything else that I had to do, and I spun this up. And then I thought, I want to put these together because the knitting with sheep locks is my current obsession. Because I love, when I got into spinning, I loved getting the fleeces. I loved washing the fleeces, but I didn't really love processing the fleeces. And for those of you that are not spinners, when you process the fleece, it goes from being curls and locks like this, or whatever the type of fiber. Like some sheep have curls and some sheep have just wool, right? So the wool is processed. Look at this that I bought. It is taking every ounce of my being to not stop everything and spin this. First, I want to make underwear because it is the softest, most luxurious thing I've ever touched. Look at the shine. This is British Falkland and merino mixed together. Oh my God. I don't want to get my lip gloss on it, which now I have it in my mouth. Nice. I'll eat it. I don't care. I love it. But I cannot wait to spin this. But I do have a little bit, sorry, of self-control. A little, just a wee bit. But I did purchase this. Wow, that really is all over my lips now. And then I purchased another bag. This is the bag that I purchased. This is from Windsong Farms, and it is Wensleydale in the Harvest colorway. Now they do have a website, and I will link it below. It's windsongfarm.com, and they're in Burdett, New York. So these two things were so delicious that I absolutely had to knit something, and this is what I came up with. So I wore this on the Saturday of the New England Fiber Festival. Sadly, I have to show you a picture, and I can't show you the whole thing because Tabitha, she nabbed it. She nabbed it to wear on Sunday because it's so cute. So, oh, thank you. Gail says it's pretty. So what I did was, because I was short on time and I, was getting ready, for this, I used the lovely popover. I used the lovely popover pattern, but I changed it just a wee little bit. And if you can see, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but by my arm, you can see there's a little slit there. And what that slit is for is I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of not like getting stuck by my knits, right? I love swanchos. I love, I love everything. But sometimes when I wear those and I'm in my car, or I put my crossover body bag on, my arms feel like they're stuck. So I'm a big, proponent on not doing that. So what happened on Saturday, as I was leaving, Tabitha said, can I wear that tomorrow? I said, absolutely. Because what it does is it shows the knitters that there is something that they can do with the beautiful locks that they might not necessarily think to do, right? And Tabitha has plenty of locks as a professional shearer. So she gave me yarn and more locks. And I said, all right, I'll make you one and I'll bring it up when we go to teach the class, in a couple weeks. So I came home and again, I blew everything off so that I could get this done. But I do have something, so I do have it to show you. So this is the lovely popover. And if you're not familiar with the lovely popover, it is this. So this is made using one skein of mohair, and it is just, it's a wonderful thing to pop over your stuff, right? Isn't it cute? And I have lots of pictures on my Instagram and on my Ravelry page. But so this is the lovely popover in mohair held double. So I thought, okay, so you can see that it has this pretty edging. I talked about it last week, or 2 weeks ago, so I'm not going to go nuts about it. But here is the original. Oh, it goes this way. Here's the original. And then here is the one that I made. This is Tabitha's yarn. Now, this is not my hand spun. But look at the locks. So this was hanging up on my dress form in my knitting room. And I was like, this is so beautiful. It's so classic. And it just looks very regal. Some women that had purchased the yarn and purchased everything at the booth were like, well, I'm going to wear this for Thanksgiving, or I'm going to wear this for Christmas. And I could totally see this, with a black skirt and boots and a long white button-down shirt. Chef's kiss. So the difference is that I made it a little bit longer. Also, with the locks on it, that has weight on it. So it's going to pull it down a little bit more. And then I added this wee little slit. And what that does is, because it hangs down a little bit lower, I didn't want my arms to get that feel. So what I did was I worked the pattern, and all of my edits of what I did are on my Ravelry page. I'm Fiber Lover over there. So I just worked back and forth and then added 2 rows of the knitting with locks technique. Isn't it gorgeous? I'm not sure I want to give it away now, but lots of people with the one size have been able to wear it because of, the increases. So Tabitha is a lot thinner than me, but she's broader than I am. She has broader shoulders. I don't have broad shoulders. So a lot of times, and this is why I always talk about knit to fit, is, a lot of times my stuff will fall off my shoulders because I have narrow shoulders, but I need larger sizes. So that's another reason why I love to teach that class. So this fits both of us great. And it also hangs in a nice spot with the wheel. And see the little detail here? I put garter stitch, 3 stitches in the beginning and the end. So I'm going to update the Lovely Tea pattern with pictures of this so that people will have options. Because with my patterns, I love to give people options, right? Shorts, like the Lovely Tea, short sleeve, long sleeve. I love the option part of it. And also in Bloom, that pattern has short sleeves, long sleeves, and it's a cardigan or a pullover on the same pattern. Like, that's the kind of stuff I want to give you options, because just like this is the same pattern. Don't want to lose my other little samples here. This is the lovely popover in Malabrigo. You have a skein and a little bit of Malabrigo hanging around. What great teacher gifts this would be. Or for your sisters-in-law, or your sister, or the young adult women you have in your life and you don't know what to get them. This It's just a cozy little thing to wear. This is made out of this I knit out of Malabrigo, and it's the same exact pattern. So this and this and this. The same pattern, friends. Just 3 different yarns and a different treatment on the bottom. That's the wonderful thing about knitting. That's why I think Ravelry and Instagram are such wonderful tools for us, because we can see what other knitters have done and make some changes. It kind of reminds me of when I did Julie's wrap from Joji Locatelli, and her I loved the shape of it, and her sample is knit in 1 color, and I decided to do 3 colors. And so when I posted that on Ravelry, and it just took off, and people just loved the 3 color version, that helps everybody. It helps the yarn company, it helps the pattern designer, and it also helps me, oh, you guys like that, I love it. So when you can do that kind of stuff, I love it. So the knitting with locks technique has really opened up. I didn't put my thing here. Has really opened up a lot of doors for other knitters to see what it's like to use another medium in their knitting. And the original, the OG, which I don't have it, Tabitha has it, but I have one here. This is Cotswold Locks, and this is the Sheep Locks wreath. Now, the Sheep Locks wreath, hello, Ontario, Canada. I want to get there someday, Shelley. Thank you for being here. So the Sheep Locks wreath, I like to teach the class in person, and I have in different places, which I taught at the New England Festival. But I also have a workshop for those of you like Shelley in Canada that might not be able to come here. So the Sheep Locks wreath workshop is on my website, knitarainbow.com. And it's a workshop where it's going to show you, let's say you purchase locks or you order them. Also, Tabitha from Long Island Yarn and Farm, where you can purchase her things, are also in the description box. But it's going to show you how to knit them in. Now, where else have I knit them in? Well, you saw it on that. Okay, are you ready? These are like, they're like potato chips. I cannot stop knitting them. Look at this wee little stocking. Now, this I knit with leftover yarn from this. Happy, right? So the same locks, the same technique. And then because I love everything white, and this was like yarn that I had, like when I'm teaching my classes, my Zoom classes, I just like had it by my my computer here, and I was like, oh my gosh, look how cute. I know, I can't get enough. I've knit 4 of these already. They're adorable. Now, one thing that I super learned at New England Sheep and Wool is that I taught the technique. I gave a pattern to make the wee little stockings. But what people saw was this, this photo, or one of them. Well, I just took that photo last night because this is what I'm doing. I'm learning that people really wanted to make a wreath, and I do feel bad that that didn't happen. So going forward, I have come up with this wee little wreath. And here's a picture of it last night in the gloaming, like right after the sun sets, but before it gets dark. That's called the gloaming. And here it is. So this wreath, here it is in real life. This wreath took no amount of time. And so I'm going to start bringing these kits with me, and it'll be a part of the class. Now, You're going to hear it here first. If you are in the Long Island area and you are close to North Fork Fiber Arts, I am going to be bringing these and teaching a class in November. So it's before the holidays. And you are going to, know how to knit this wee little wreath and have everything that you need in the price of the class. Tabitha will be talking about raising the sheep, shearing the sheep. That's all about animal husbandry, and it's fascinating. She's such an amazing tool, because if these are Cotswold locks, and if these locks didn't stay in the lock form, they would be processed and then made into roving, and then you could spin it, or it would be spun into wool. So it's just a way of using the raw materials in to make something beautiful. And I think that this is beautiful. I will also teach people how to make these sweet little bows. I use my hands, but that's going to be part of the class too. So you heard that here. Oh, thank you, Kim. Thank you, Sue. Sue says it's pretty and perfect for the holidays. Okay, so those are the things that, oh, I'm not done. I got to know James and Chris from Into the World. If you are a spinner, they also dye yarns. And I kind of went a little nuts. I didn't kind of. I just purchased. So this is In Sheep's Clothing, it's called, and this is merino, yak, and silk. Is that not fantastic? Into the World. You can order from them. Follow them on Facebook. Follow them on Instagram. I also wanted to try Romany. I've never knit Romany, so I purchased this color. This was also incredibly soft, so I purchased these at the show. Now I did purchase from Into the World, their Strinkenlocked strings. I don't know how to pronounce it. I will do a better job when I take the glamour shots of this. Now this is this was a braid that I purchased from them, and it is and oh, Sue's asking the question, what is roving? So roving is, I'm going to show it to you here. This is when fiber has been processed, and this is the state that it goes in before it's spun into yarn. Now, hand spinners like myself can purchase roving like this, or this is undyed natural roving, or you can purchase it like this, where dyers will dye the roving. So this is a dyed braid, and they're all different because it depends on, the type of wool it is. Some wools are softer than other wools. Some are long wools. Some have short staple. Sometimes when they're in the roving stage, they will add things in, like this one is Falkland and merino wool mixed together. Okay. And why would you mix things together? Well, silk is going to be shiny. It's also going to give a little bit more drape, whereas the wool is going to make it a little bit more springy. And then you can, buy the straight form. Here it is. So that is what roving is. That is such a great question. And that's what you do. But this was a really interesting, not a specifically soft fiber, but I loved the colors. This is called Herding Cats from Into the World. So if you are a spinner, this turned out to be spectacular. And I just skeined it up. I have no idea if it's fingering, and in the next video, next week, I'll show you how I can tell, and I will show you how I figure out how many yards I have with this. Oh, hello. we have another podcaster here saying how pretty it is. So go check her out. So I love it. And I love to knit hats with it. Oh, from Norway. Welcome, welcome. So yeah. So this is, I don't remember the name of the sheet, but okay. So another thing, I so that's what I purchased. And then I got home and I received a gift. I received a gift from my friend Crystal from Factory Girl Designs, and she has a fiber box. So if you are a knitter or a crocheter, because she includes both a knitting and a crochet design, I highly recommend. Now, she was telling me about the boxes and she wanted to collaborate on something and I was like, "Sure, I'd love to collaborate. Let's do something." And so we're talking about it and I get home from the New England Fiber Festival and she sent me a box. So I got to see firsthand the amount of work that goes into these boxes. Now, if you're interested, um, I would order them. You can order them by the box, half a year or full year, and they're 4 boxes per year. And I may or may not be involved in the January one. So I'm very excited, and it does have to do with locks. Now, the first thing that I couldn't believe how heavy it was and how much stuff is in here. But let me show you what's in here. So this is the inspiration card. It's the Fiber Girl Makers box. It's absolutely amazing. And I can't believe she just sent this to me. Now, there were goodies, food in there. There is pure maple syrup from a place. Also, which you cannot see because they were eaten not by me, but by my family. There was like a stroopwafel in there and like 2 candies that were like caramel. So delicious. There were 2 patterns, codes for you, and the pattern codes were to make something with the yarn that was in here. Look at this yarn. It's spectacularly beautiful. Plies and Hellhounds yarn. And the colors are Marie Cutie. This is Coriadel and Nylon Fingering. And this is Fig Lace. So good. Okay. Then there are 3 dryer balls. 3 of them. And they're huge. A mug that's going to become one of my favorites in my making error. Come on. There was also mulling spice. Doesn't this look like the what is that thing? The Jingle Bell from that Christmas movie? The Something Express. Oh God, I don't remember. My kids are old now. And oh, look, it has our logo on it. And these are 2 wooden coasters. I'd say that's worth the price of what the box is. Holy cow. And I can't wait to be a part of the January one. I'm so super excited. So have any of you purchased something like in the middle of the night? I did, and it came. So, I'm all about knitting with sheep's locks. And this is Tabitha's Gotland and Merino wool. So I was thinking about Gotlands. We went and picked up a Gotland together, Victor, that lives on Tabitha's farm. And so I'm in a Facebook group called Raw Fleece for Sale. Yep, it came. Scotland. Um, it looks all right. So let me show you. Oh, here's a funny story. So, remember how I told you all that I absolutely love to purchase. Well, I'm really good at purchasing. I love to purchase the fleeces and I love to wash the fleeces, but I don't really love to process the fleeces, which means, combing them or, putting them between, brushes or putting it on my drum carder. Don't get me wrong. I have all the tools. I have all the things because I have to have all the things, but I don't really love to do it. So I started this obsession a while ago and my husband would come home from work sometimes and I had been washing everything in my sink and he would come home from work and be like, Kimberly, what's for dinner? Barnyard funk? But I love the smell, so it's intoxicating to me, which is why I'm in this business. Why not? So let me show you. There is, a smell because it smells like the farm, but not bad. These Gotlands are from Grandview Farm. I love their logo in Vermont. Established in 1887. Wow, I didn't look at that. You know what else? First of all, the woman's name is Kim. Hi, Kim. Awesome name. And they have you can stay there on the farm with girlfriends and have a farm experience. Doesn't that sound like fun? But let me pull out one of these. As knitters, I'm just going to pull out a little bunch, which turned into a big bunch. The smell. I'm going to wash these after I get done with this because I'm so excited. They came yesterday very fast, but here's what the locks look like. And this is what they would look like on the animal. And that's why, come on, Kimberly. That's why I love these because it shows what it looks like on the animal. Now, these are Cotswold locks and this is a Gotland. And stay tuned to my Instagram because I'm going to show you what color these turn out. But if you pull a lock out, or a clump of locks, you can see the structure. So this is what was not closest to the body. I'm like, what is it? Hanging down? What do we call it? But you can see right here, this is the shorn end. So this was the part that was closest to the body. And then this is the one that was hanging off the animal. Isn't it gorgeous? Aren't they gorgeous? So this looks like a really pretty silvery color. Now, Gotlands can be silver. They can be like a silvery gray. They can be a light gray, a dark gray, or even black. Now, I purchased this, right? And I told Tabitha, came clean. We were chatting on the phone about something. Oh, she was actually driving to shear Gotlands. And she was like, Kimberly, I have tons of Gotland fleece. I was like, I know, but I was excited and I made a new contact in Kim and I was excited to meet her. The Polar Express. Thank you, Sue. Isn't it great? So I will be washing these. The Wensleydale locks are 12 inches long. So exciting. So, all right, that's that. I love that. All right, what else? Okay, so what came in the mail? Man, I've got a lot to say. Hang on. I meant to put a picture up for all of you because some of you are new to me. What I like to do when my nieces are getting married is to make them a wedding shawl. I like to do it in the traditional Shetland way. My father-in-law, Stephen McAlinden, came to this country from Scotland, and I like to tell the story of my life with these beautiful women and how I feel about them translated into this shawl, into lace. So the shawl will have a center panel and then it will have lace on around it, and then it'll have an edging, which is the bind off. Very lucky this year. Lots of weddings coming up, and my niece Grace is getting married in May. Her shower is in March, though, and so I wanted to show you. I ordered the yarn for it, or I should say, dental floss, and I just wanted to show you what it looks like. Look how little it is. So this is it's gossamer weight, and it is, you should try Falkland Merino as well. I just purchased some, and it is the softest upon soft upon soft. So yes, I did just purchase it. And earlier in the podcast, I was like, it's taking every ounce of my being not to spin this up, but I have too much work coming up, which is lucky, and it's wonderful to be productive. Look at the strand of this. So I'm going to take you all along on the ride of, my experience and why I picked the laces that I pick, and the story of my story with Little Miss Grace. And I can't wait. And so that's going to be coming up in the new year. Vlogmas is coming up, and I have 2 patterns that are coming out for Advent. So if you purchased your Advents, there are 2 patterns that are coming out, and I'm very, very excited. I worked with Asylum Fibers, Stephanie of Asylum Fibers, and I'm sorry I don't know your first name. Let's see. Yes, it's really soft, warm, and lovely. I made a sock pattern with that. Wow, the lace shells are so pretty. Well, how can our friends find your sock pattern and your podcast? Please leave it in the comments so other people can find you, which I will after I'm finished doing this. So this I bought a bunch. So I actually hold this double. So I will hold it double on size 4 needles. And I can't wait. I've already thought about the laces and the story, and it's one of my favorite things to do. All right, the last thing that I received since I've seen all of you, my friends, is a bag. I don't know if you guys are going to be familiar with this, but I'm very, very excited to announce that I have started designing for Hobie Yarns. I met them. They were across the way from me at Cake Palooza, and what a lovely, lovely, just people that they are. And so I'm going to start, and I'm really, really excited. So they've sent me, I prefer to work with wool and wool blends, but they do have a lot of acrylic and acrylic things. So they sent me kind of a smorgasbord of their wool and wool blends. And I have to tell you, I'm very, very impressed. Oh, girly. You're okay. So it's Girly from Norway, soon to publish more patterns in English and on Ravelry. So it's Fjellrosa. I hope I'm doing that right. Or Fjellrosa Design. Hobie have a lot of lovely yarn. Looking forward to following you on that. Oh, thank you so much, Girly. So I wanted to show you. They're really pretty. So look, this is a navy blue solid, and it's a single ply. This is their Friends wool, which is just a beautiful, it's 100% wool. They also sent me like a wool acrylic, which I'm loving for baby gear, so that, the new mothers can put that in there. Look at this. First, they sent me like, what are your favorite colors? Wait, let me show you. I was like, oh my God, they know me already. Look at this. This is extra fine merino. Is that not my color? I just wore it yesterday. And then this is another pretty one. I didn't see what it was. This is cotton, acrylic, and wool. Ooh, I like this. So I'm very excited to start designing for them. It's just another way, and it's just another way to get out there, and to design and do what I love to do, and then talk about my design, and then teach about my design. It's just another way of doing it. Hi, Susan Van Allen from Nevada. It's very nice to see you. All right, let's get that subscribe away. All right. Now, I had promised that I was going to answer questions. This is that people sent me on Instagram. So sorry, I'm looking down, but I'm looking at my phone here. Okay. So here are the questions. All right. This is from Blue Dolphin. Any tips on stranded knitting fair isle? Can you loosen strands by blocking? Sigh and redo. I think my favorite part of teaching is seeing the light bulbs go off. I think as knitters, one thing that we tend to do a very, very lot of is we are very tight. We are knitting like this. And so even me, and a lot of times I'll have to tell myself, take a breath, roll those shoulders back and down, and remember why we're knitting. Remember that we are in the zen, that we are creating, we are makers, and we are doing something that is fun. When you're stranded knitting, the biggest mistake I see is not leaving your floats long enough. And the way to fix that is, and I'll get to the rest of your question in a minute. The way to fix that is, when you're going to catch your floats, is to push your knitting back from the right hand needle. Because if your yarn, or left, if your yarn is coming over here from the right hand needle and you need to bring it around, if you're a thrower, you want to pull those stitches back so that you need more yarn. Because when you're knitting with that, then your float will fall behind all of those stitches. When you're pulling it from the left hand side, again, you're going, well, because I knit, when I'm doing fair isle or color knitting, I use two hands. So I will be a thrower and a picker. So, but both times, it's very easy for me to do the floats. So your question is, will it block out? Sometimes the answer is yes. And sometimes it has to do with the type of fiber that you're using. If you're using 100% wool, most likely that 100% wool is just going to stick there. And so if it's kind of bunched up when you take it off your needles, it's not going to relax very much. But if your wool has something blended in it, or it's superwash wool, those wools tend to relax once they get wet, or wet blocked or steamed. They tend to relax a little bit. And in those instances, also if there's silk or if there's nylon, like sock yarn, those yarns tend to relax a little bit, and you might get some width in that. Mostly you're going to get length though, my friend, not width. So it depends on how tight you are. Now, getting loosey-goosey floats is just a matter of practice. And I suggest doing a hat with the floats, because if the hat gets a little too tight, your brim isn't going to be tight and you'll still be able to wear it, or to give it to a child with a little bit of a smaller head. So it isn't like a complete, waste. This is bothering me. I don't know why. Okay. And that didn't help it. What else? So thank you for your question. Blue Dolphin 66. Factory Girl Design. Hi, Crystal. I wish I had something, but I just wanted to say hi. Hi. I hope people go over and check out your website. It's absolutely beautiful. She has brand new patterns. She is an amazing human. Eileen, where do your design ideas come from? So, my design ideas usually come from something that I want and I can't find it. I can't purchase it. So, that's or I see something like someone's wearing a sweater and I'm like, "Ooh, that's really nice. I bet I could do that." And then I will like take a photograph in my mind, or I'm not like once social media and phones came about, I have no problems like taking photos of the back of some. I've told my daughter Marin, I've said to Marin sometimes like, "Go follow that lady and get a picture." I have done that. But usually, and ever since I've been little, I have been able to look the at clothing and be able to know how it's made or know how to put the shapes together. And I think that's why I became like a natural designer. Like that's just how it worked for me. So, there are a few of you here. If you could take the time, if you're on Facebook, I'm sorry, if you're on Instagram, and if you could give this a thumbs up, I would really, really appreciate it. Okay, what should it look like in the back? Susan asks. Should the floats look straight or like a slight smile? Excellent question. They should look a little, have a slight smile, like a smize. Not too and this is the beauty of learning, right? Not too smiley, but not too straight either. And that's because, you don't want to bunch the stitches up that are in between. So you guys give me such great questions that I can use for Technique Tuesday. I'm really, really excited to start those videos up on Tuesdays. So I have already made a note to do how to do your floats. Any chances of a course? There's always a chance of a course, Sue. Thank you for asking. If you are interested in courses, there are some workshops that are on my website. It is for the lovely tea, the sheep locks wreath, and I believe the in bloom sweater. So, what the workshops entail are me chatting, and it's also showing my hands of the techniques that you learn and the tips and tricks that I use to make my knitting look professional. So that's what those workshops are. And those are available on my website, knitarainbow.com. Scroll down and you'll see the workshops. Just click on those. Thank you very much for that. But yeah, actually, I don't know if Sue knows this, but I team up with Tabitha on a lot of things, and we may or may not for the February knit along be doing color work. So I would watch both of our Instagrams for a chance to sign up about that. Okay, the next thing, I don't have much. Eileen, I hope that answered your question about, how I get inspiration. A lot of times it's because I want something that's going to look nice on me, and so that's how I come up with something. A lot of it is like the what was it called? The quilted pullover. I had all of these beautiful advents that I love to open up the yarn advents. I love to open them up. But I thought, what am I going to do with all these scraps? Not scraps of yarn, but little bits of yarn. How can I make that into a garment? And so there are two garments coming because I am a garment girl. So there are two garments that are coming. Very excited. Okay, let's get to the next one. Okay, Eileen asks again, thank you. You look fantastic. You look so vibrant and joyful. What are you doing? Oh, thank you, Eileen. What am I doing? So I think first and foremost, I have traveled which I'm continuing to travel through my grief journey, but I just feel like the weight has been lifted, literally and figuratively. Um, it that it was very hard to lose my mom. It was just really, really hard, and, I used alcohol and food to numb the pain, and once I've worked through, um, you know, realizing that I used alcohol and food to numb the pain of losing my mom, then I was able to do something about it. So I was able to, stop drinking alcohol, which, has actually changed a lot of things in my life. And I have started exercising again and eating foods that are fueling my body instead of um, instead of numbing my body. And so, thank you for noticing. I feel really, really, really happy again, and happy with life. And I'm excited about life again. For all of you, I'm 54, I'm postmenopausal, and it is really difficult to get the weight off, but you can do it. It's not impossible. And I would say protein forward. So thank you, Eileen. Also, it doesn't hurt that the weather has been absolutely incredible. Last week on Thursday, I was sitting on the beach and we saw whales. It was just incredible. And by we, I mean me and my husband. We were sitting on the beach having lunch and it was incredible. Having a tan helps. And I'm very lucky that I have that skin that stays tan. All right. So those, how long does it take you to design a sweater? Uh, from start to finish, it depends, but, it's about 10 days from start to finish. That's how long it takes me to well, that's design and knit a sweater. That's it. I also, if I'm going to knit a sweater from a pattern, it's less than a week. But I also want you to know there was a wait, did I see this? How long do you knit every day? So, you know, please take into consideration that I have knit for over 40 years. I learned when I was 10, and I have knit for a very, very long time. But also, it is my profession. So I get up in the morning between 6:30 and 7, walk Hank, and then that's my time to knit. I start my day and I usually end my day with something that I'm knitting, not necessarily designing, but knitting because it's my happy place. It's where I'm happy. Creating is where I'm happy, which is why I have knit, a bazillion of these little things. How cute would this be to make an advent? You know how there's the advent, oh, maybe there is one with mittens. Wouldn't these be cute as an advent? Or, you could make one for each of your family members and maybe like overstitch or embroider on. Oh, I just came up with another idea. It's Oh, yay. Okay. So Girly has a question and then we'll wrap it up because I'm coming up on an hour. I can't believe it. Girly says she's really terrified about next Monday. She'll be giving a lecture about her design journey and patterns, and she's never lectured. Do you have any tips? By the way, last week we had 2 feet of snow. Oh, last week we had 2 feet of snow, and I was on the beach. That's crazy in Norway. So, um, do you have any tips about it? I will say that whatever you say, that people are going to be interested in. And your journey is your journey, and it's nobody else's journey. And so that's why there is no right or wrong way to lecture on your experience. And I'm not just talking about knitting and designing, I'm talking about your life. All of your lives. People are, if you watch YouTube like I do, and you watch Instagram, people are genuinely interested in other people's lives. I don't know. I don't know what it is, maybe that's the lure of reality TV, right? We're all watching other people's reality. So people are going to be interested in whatever you have to offer. And I always try to, when I'm lecturing, remember to leave room and time for the back and forth of questions because I could talk for hours about questions. In fact, every week I'm going to put up on my Instagram, and on my YouTube page, Knit a Rainbow. What are your questions? I'm going to answer them every week because it gives me material instead of just showing you what I'm doing and showing you things that I've purchased, because sometimes there aren't going to be things that I purchase. Only sometimes though, friends, don't worry. Um, and so I would say you are the expert in your own life with whatever you're talking about, and people are going to be interested in it. So I look forward, girly, to hearing from you. And I look forward, I hope that you write me a comment how it went next week. I really hope you do, because there's nothing more empowering than discussing things about yourself with other people. And that's why I'm not afraid to tell people that I look at that girl from January. I'm going to show you a picture because I sent this picture to somebody, so it's fresh in my mind. I sent this picture to my friend about me in January, um, and I look at her. I'm going to show you all. For those of you that just think that this is me now. And I look at her. Here she is. Wait, everything's backwards when I do this. So here she is. You know what I think about her? I love this girl. I think she is the strongest, most incredible human. And all that weight and all that puffiness and all that stuff it's just love. It's just me missing my mama. And it's all, there was no place for that love to go because I was so in the depths of my grief that it felt very lonely. And so I love her. I look at her and I'm like, you are so strong. You are so strong that you knew that there was a better way and that you did it. And it didn't happen overnight. I mean, here we are in November and this was January. Look at how strong she is. She is still absolutely beautiful, creative, a loving wife and mother and sister and friend. And she is powerful. So, all of you out there, if you take nothing else from from Knit a Rainbow, know this: you all have the power to do whatever you want to do. The only thing that is stopping you is you. Because once you realize the power that you have, once you realize that you are the captain of your ship, you are the shearer of your sheep and the shepherd of your flock, you are in control. Once you decide to take control, and only you know when you're ready to decide. I was 5 years in. Only you will know when you're ready. Magical things happen. The universe starts to conspire to help you. I say every morning, show me how good it can get. Show me. Show me how good it can get when I show up and I come here and I do the things that make me buzz with happy energy so that I can go out and buzz with happy energy. And I realized that the foods I was eating and the alcohol I was drinking was dulling my ability to buzz. And so I made changes. And so that's how it worked. So, what I hope for all of you is that you find that thing that makes you buzz. If whether it's washing, sheep fleece, or, finding yarn that fits for you and your budget and learning and creating new things, or going for a walk for the joy of being able to go for a walk. Find those things to do. Do them. And I'll see you here next week. Thank you so much for being here.